You're listening to Stories to Create with your host, Cornell Bunting. Author, motivational speaker, and founder of ES Each Episode. Cornell sits down with inspiring voices to uncover the stories that shape who we are and who we're becoming. Get ready to listen, learn, and be inspired. The show starts now.
Yes. Welcome to another episode of Stories to Create podcast right here at ES Club. And ladies and gentlemen, my beautiful listeners, today it is with great pleasure and profound respect that I introduce you guys to Dr. Ken Harris, who is a distinguished figure in the realm of holistic health. And I'm telling you, people, there's quite a bit that's going to unfold today. And I want to tell you, this gentleman's career have spanned over 4 decades is a testament to his unwavering commitment to enhancing health and wellness through natural means. I'm going to let him embark on more of his life and all that with you guys. And so, without further ado, help me welcome Dr. Ken Harris.
Well, I am honored and privileged to be here,
Yes,
and
sir.
it was no accident that
Yes,
you and
sir.
our paths have crisscrossed at this point in our life cycle.
Yes, sir. This is amazing. And of course, guys, I got to tell you, he has 2 Amazon bestsellers, which we're going to touch on at some point in the show today. You guys can see them on the counter. But for you listeners that can't see them, we're going to talk about it, and we're going to tell you where you can find these books so you can go get a copy yourself to be more developed. So without further ado, Doc, we're going to jump in to you taking our listeners back to the early years. Where was that?
How far back do you want to go?
We want to go way back.
Well, I was born in the South Bronx in New York City.
Okay.
To a loving family.
Yeah.
Thank God, because if I didn't have my mother saying rosary beads for me, I think I would be dead by now. My mother was Irish Catholic, and my father was Hebrew.
Okay.
We were church mouse poor.
Wow.
I have an older brother and an older sister, and the 5 of us lived in 2 rooms.
Wow.
I was the first member of my family to graduate college and get 3 degrees. Everybody else was not afforded that opportunity.
No. Wow.
But I grew up in the hood.
Yeah.
I'm honest to God, I did. I grew up on the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
But as I say, the love of my mom and dad,
Yeah.
had a stability there, kept me out of a lot of trouble.
Wow. This was in a time when Babe Ruth was the guy in baseball.
Yes, I was born in 1946, so
Okay,
I'm 77. Mickey Mantle was my hero.
Mickey, okay.
And if you read in one of the books, I actually had an opportunity to play in Yankee Stadium at age 14.
Did you? Wow.
Not only did I play, ladies and gentlemen, in Yankee Stadium, but I hit a home run in Yankee Stadium.
Look at you.
That's my 15 seconds of claim to fame. We won the championship of the New York Mirror. There used to be 3 major newspapers in New York. The New York Post, the Daily News, and the New York Mirror. And they sponsored the Little Fellas League, which is the precursor to Little League.
Right.
So we won the championship, and we had an opportunity to play a 3-inning exhibition game before an evening Kansas City Athletics and New York Yankees. in Yankee Stadium.
Wow.
Now, my mother, thank God she was there.
Yeah.
She witnessed that event, and she has sworn on the Bible that it actually happened.
Yeah.
Because we didn't have cameras those days. We didn't have iPhones.
Right.
But they brought the fence in case anyone's doubting. He said, you hit a home run in Yankee Stadium?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
They brought the fence in 200 feet.
Oh, beautiful.
I met Steinbrenner coming down to Florida once for the training in Tampa.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Mr. Steinbrenner this story, and he looked at me and said, do you realize realize you're probably the only kid in the whole world who's ever done that?
Yeah.
Because how many kids even get a chance to play in Yankee Stadium?
Right.
Never mind hit a home run.
Oh, man.
So my dream team was not Babe Ruth. It was Mickey Mantle,
Mickey.
Moose Gowan, Yogi Berra, Bobby Richardson, Whitey Ford, Tony Kubek.
Wow.
And I was on the field with my dream team.
That is amazing.
It is.
Yeah, that is beautiful. So school was in Bronx.
Yes, I went. I left the Bronx at age 14.
Okay.
So I did my high school in Long Island City, in Queens.
Okay.
I did my undergraduate psychology training at Queens College.
Okay.
Then I got a master's degree from Hunter College, and then I got a doctorate degree from the New York Institute of Chiropractic.
Oh, that's amazing.
Actually, it was the Columbia at the time.
Yeah.
Columbia Institute.
So you have done quite a bit of years in college just to get to the doctorate. Because what do they say, 12 years or 8 years?
It's a long haul, folks.
If you want to get in there, it's going to take you a little bit.
I got out at 28 years of age and started my practice.
Okay.
And I had a contiguous practice consecutive for 45 years.
Wow.
I retired 5 years ago, and I rewired myself.
Yes.
I don't like to use the word retire, ladies and gentlemen. Retirement is synonymous with death.
Yes.
Don't retire. You have something to retire to.
Yes.
So I have rewired myself, and
Beautiful.
I'm passionate about spreading the bridge between spirituality and healing, and that's why I wrote these 2 books.
Wow. So before we get to the books, in 1974, take us back on that year.
74 was the year I graduated from chiropractic college.
Beautiful.
And it was the hippie year, bell-bottom pants and the Beatles.
Yeah.
That was the time. Everybody was coming of age.
Okay.
And the war, the war had just ended in Vietnam.
Right.
I lived through all that in Kent State. It was a tumultuous time.
Wow.
As it is today. Our planet is under tremendous stress. 2 world wars going on.
Right.
Regional wars, which could become a world war. And an upheaval. I am saddened. I cannot watch the news, I'm going to tell you.
Yeah.
It saddens me to see the United Divided States of America.
Right.
What happened to our country?
I know. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Let me ask you, because back then, so 74, you have passed the teenage years now, and you're in your...
I was 28.
28. You're in your late 20s. What was your take on presidency in that time, how they handled?
There was a lot of protesting going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My generation was active.
Wow.
We were against the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And we let the government know that.
Yeah.
And it was a time of uncertainty, as it is today. There was a lot of instability in our political system, our economic system, as there is now.
Yeah. Oh man. So you started your practice, and you started in New York.
In New Jersey.
New Jersey.
Yeah, I started. I purchased a home that was already had been zoned by the divine for a home office combination.
Okay.
And I set my practice up right in my home, so I never had to travel to work. All the patients came to me.
That's
and I
amazing.
put 2 major additions on my home.
Okay.
And I've been in that town for 50 years.
Wow.
The town is Waldwick, New Jersey.
Waldwick.
And I called it the Waldwick Wellness Center.
Wow.
I was into preventative health care from the get-go. Mm-hmm. And I had what they called at the time a cradle-to-grave, womb-to-tomb family practice. Mm-hmm. And my emphasis at the time, and still is on prevention. Don't wait to get sick and then seek a cure.
Right.
Keep the body healthy at the get-go. Proper diet, proper alignment, proper thinking.
Right.
I would say most people pay a lot of attention to what they put into their mouth, but not too much attention what comes out of their mouth.
What comes out, yeah.
And if you don't have alignment between your thoughts and your feelings, you have an incoherent field neurologically, and that sets the stage for all manner of illness.
Wow. What would you say was the most challenging years after you started the practice?
I'm going to honest to say I didn't have a challenge. I was the valedictorian in my class, so they gave me the opportunity to teach at the college. Okay. So when I went back to the college to teach at the chiropractic college, all the students brought me their families. I didn't have to struggle. I didn't have to that 5-year starvation period. From the get-go, I had an instantaneous practice.
That's amazing.
I was the authority.
Yeah, you was that guy.
I was the guy, and they all bought, while they were in school. Now, what happened when they all graduated?
Yeah.
I lost my practice. No, by then I had an ongoing practice.
Right.
But I took care of babies. Women would bring their babies to me from the hospital, and patients would be in the office and say, "Hey, doc, did that baby have a car accident? What's the matter with it?"
Yeah.
I said, "Nothing. It just had a challenging birth process.
Okay.
It was forceps or it was vacuumed." And the mothers know that if you don't align the cervical spine at that early age, there's going to be consequences down the road.
Right.
So I had women actually bring me from the hospital before they went home to check their babies. Wow. And that was the greatest accolade I could have had as a doctor, amazing. The trust of a mother to bring her child to you.
Yeah, wow. With you having such a smooth sailing, was there ever a day when you had a patient that you wasn't sure how to deal with the situation they brought to you?
Well, I always told patients, I never guaranteed cures because we don't know the future for anybody, the outcome.
Right.
But I always said, I'm willing to try if you're willing to try.
That's beautiful.
And I let them decide how long they wanted that trial period. I would say to change the pattern, it usually takes 30, 60 to 90 days. If you're not willing to commit to that, then I don't think I can help you.
Right.
Unfortunately, chiropractic, gets a bad rep. They say, well, they keep you coming back, those guys.
Right.
Because we got to re-educate the musculature. We got to re-educate the alignment.
Yeah.
And I said, if you're going to come one and done and walk out and say, well, I went to Dr. Ken once and my 30-year-old problem didn't resolve, he's no good, I wouldn't accept him as a patient.
Yeah.
The other people I wouldn't accept as patients, interestingly or not, I accepted all patients regardless of condition or financial ability to pay. Wow. I had a sliding fee schedule, and I had a family plan. But if a patient came into me and they believed they're being punished by God, I would ask them to go elsewhere. Wow. And they'd say to me, "Hey, doc, you're not going to take care of me?" I said, "You just told me that God is punishing me. You think I'm stronger than God?
Right.
I'm not going against God, so you're going to have to find another doctor." Those are the only ones I didn't accept. But everybody else, if they were willing, I was willing to undergo a trial treatment of care.
I like that, man. That is amazing. The work that goes into chiropractic, how challenges does that get when you have to fully understand the whole body?
Well, we get a really formal, vigorous education. We study everything except pharmacology. But we, as chiropractors, I'm going to make this blanket statement, knows more about the anatomy of the human body than the average doctor.
Wow.
Because we focus totally on structure and function.
Okay.
We don't study pharmacology. So our training, we get hundreds of hours of anatomy and physiology. That's what I taught at the college, by the way.
Wow.
When they had me come back,
I
had a good memory. I could visualize and see everything.
Yeah.
I was a good student. That was one of my saving graces.
Beautiful.
But the human body is divinely created, and there's no wasted space, organ, or functions of any glands, tissues, and organs. So everything has a purpose, and it's all beautifully integrated through the nervous system.
Wow.
And the intention of a chiropractic adjustment, not treatment, we didn't call them treatments, we call them adjustments, is to unify the brain to the body.
Wow.
When there's coherent energy flow from the head to the heart, the body will reorganize itself. It is a self-healing, self-regulating, vitalistic principle. We didn't make that up.
Right.
And I'm going to make another statement. No chiropractor anywhere ever cured anyone, nor did any medical doctor. The body is a self-healing mechanism. It's divinely created and fearfully and awesomely made.
That is amazing. Now, you performing so well in school, how much of that did your parents play a part in?
Well, as I say, I had a surround. I had a mother and a father. A lot of people in my neighborhood didn't have both.
Right.
In the hood, there was a lot of poverty and broken families. So I always knew I'm going to say this. I knew I had the unconditional love of my mama.
Okay.
My mama was the most beautiful being. My father loved me, but it wasn't so unconditional. But my mother's love was totally unconditional. And that gave me the security and safety to focus on my studies.
Wow.
But we were poor. I mean, my mother, I make a joke. My mother, she cooked most things in the pressure cooker.
She did?
Yeah, she didn't know how to cook. But, but we had a lot of pressure cooking.
Yeah.
She was really good, by the way. St. Patty's Day is coming up. She made the best corned beef and cabbage.
Wow.
But other than that, she didn't have a big repertoire.
No.
Everything got dumped in the pressure cooker. And my father was a cab driver, and
Okay.
I think his biggest year in economics, he made $5,000 once.
Wow.
Other than that, we never knew, where the next meal was coming from. But they were stable. They weren't alcohol. There was no alcoholism, no drug addiction.
Right.
They were highly spiritual and religious people.
It's amazing.
It is amazing. I picked some good parents.
Yes. Now, in the Bronx, and, because I want you to paint the picture for our listeners, when you say in the hood, like in the Bronx at this time.
Right. Gangs.
When you say gangs, are you talking Italian gangs or what kind of gangs?
I'm going to say this. I was in the Irish Lords.
Okay.
Because I had an identification with the mix, the Irish
Right.
people. But if you weren't in a gang, you couldn't leave your block. You had to have protection.
Yeah.
And, gunshots were going on all the time.
Wow.
There was the African-American community, there was the Hispanic community, and the Patty Boys.
Okay.
And we would make different alliances at times. Now, here's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
When the Hispanic people came in droves, they brought the guns. We were using bats and sticks.
Right.
So the African Americans and the Irish, we formed an alliance to fight against the Hispanics.
Wow.
So here's a story that you may find incredulous, folks. I was 13 and a half, 14, going on 14, just about. I was in junior high school at the time, and I had an altercation with a gang leader, Hispanic gang leader, and I beat him up pretty bad.
Yeah.
And they came at lunchtime, and they put a gun in my belly, and they told me they were going to kill me at 3:00.
Wow.
I went to my teacher, and I said, Mr. Buccadoro, who happened to come as a patient 30 years later to me.
Right.
I said, they're going to kill me at 3:00. He says, no, they're not. We're going to get the cops here.
Yeah.
The police came to my school, took me out, and I never was able to go back to that school.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the atmosphere I grew up in. Wow. I went home and told my dad, and my dad was a hero. He was in World War II.
Okay.
He landed on Normandy Beach.
Okay.
He survived.
Wow.
Marched across all of France.
Yeah.
He was an infantryman. Marched through Belgium into Germany for the Battle of the Bulge. He was fearless.
Wow.
So when I told my dad what happened, I'll never forget. This is my first case of shaming. He went into a closet and took out 2 bats. And he says, let's go. I said, let's go where? Lou. His name was Lou. I said, where are we going?
Yeah.
He says, you're not going to be afraid of this. We're going to go out and take care of them.
Yeah.
I said, Lou, bats don't stop bullets.
Right.
I ain't going out. I was scared.
Yeah.
And I remember feeling ashamed. He was not afraid, my dad.
Wow.
Hey, look, the guy had seen everything.
Yeah.
But he was a good man, and he was a cab driver. And again, some of his colleagues, during that time, cabs didn't have petitions. They were getting their throats cut.
Wow.
And my father had been beat up a couple of times and robbed. So he was fearless.
Wow.
But that was my first case of shaming. I felt like I was a coward.
Yeah.
But I said, bats, bullets,
So he never took you?
I never left. I had to change schools. I had to go to another school. Wow. Literally. I could never go back.
Oh, man.
So I grew up with a little bit of other side of the tracks consciousness.
Yeah. Wow. Well, you were aware. You got the street smarts.
I'm street smart. Oh yeah. You had to be. You couldn't survive.
Right.
You could not survive.
Yeah. Wow. That is amazing. Now, most of your practice were upstate. Up in
New
Jersey. When did you decide to come down to Florida?
Well, I don't live in Florida. I've been visiting Florida for 30 years.
Okay, so you just come and go.
I'm still excuse me. Yeah. Going to take a little chamomile Egyptian tea, folks.
There you go.
Right now, I rent year-round in Naples.
Okay.
But I go back and forth.
Oh, beautiful.
And my clinic is closed for the last 5 years.
Okay.
So I'm not in active practice, but I am on speaking tours, and I do keynote speeches, and I'm very well known within the chiropractic community.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful. So you said 30 years ago you discovered Florida. How did that even happen?
On a vacation. Just a vacation.
Just decided to go to the Sunshine State.
In the wintertime, New Jersey's not a fun place to be.
Right.
So we'd come down for a weekend, a week, a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and now we're year-round. Wow. But I go back and forth. I'm still a resident of the state of New Jersey.
Okay.
I never domiciled here.
Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Every young person carries a story of hope, of struggle, of dreams waiting to rise. But in too many underserved communities, those stories go unheard.
At ease, Inc. Everyone has a story. We believe every voice deserves a chance through mentorship, empowering programs, and storytelling workshops. We help youth discover their purpose, strengthen their mindset, and build a future they can be proud of.
From classrooms in Jamaica to communities across Southwest Florida.
ES is changing lives,
One story at a time.
but we can't do it alone. Join us, become a mentor, volunteer, donate, help us fuel the next generation of leaders, creators, and change makers.
Visit ahazink.org today. Because when you help a young person share their story, you help them change their world.
Wow. Who love it more here, you or your wife?
We both love it together.
Yeah.
We both love it together. And we love each other, which is even more important than where you are.
That is amazing.
I'm married 55 years to the most incredible human partner that one could ever ask for.
Yeah.
I often say, if my wife dies or leaves me, I'm going to have to hire 10 women to do what she does.
Wow.
Because I'm in the world in a big way, and she supports everything.
Wow. So you married your wife before you opened your practice?
That's right. I met my wife in college.
Wow.
I was 22 and she was 21.
Wow.
And it's an interesting story because I went out with a girl in high school, senior high school year.
Yeah.
And her father was a chiropractor. Now, at that point in time, I was a really scientific guy. And I said, you know, those chiropractors, they're a bunch of quacks. They don't help anybody. They don't do anything good. They're charlatans. The
Right.
girl broke up with me. She
Wow.
said, well, you're saying that about my daddy. Goodbye.
Yeah.
The universe sent me another opportunity, a second chance. I meet my wife, Judy. And I met my wife, Judy, because I didn't want to go to Vietnam and kill anybody.
Right.
My uncle knew a superintendent in District 8 of the Bronx.
Yeah.
He said, if you get a 12-credit crash course in education, we'll get you a teaching certificate. You'll go in a special service school, and you won't have to go overseas and kill anybody.
Wow.
So Judy was an early childhood major.
Okay.
2 consecutive semesters, there was only one room in the education class, and it was next to Judy. I had to take these courses, but every time I went for 2 consecutive, there was no other room but her. Second time, I said, would you like to go out?
Right.
We go out. The rest is history. I said, what does your daddy do?
Yeah.
She says, he's a chiropractor. I shut my mouth. That was it. I didn't say another word. And then one day I was having what they call an allergic attack. I had hay fever.
Right.
And the father says to me, Leonard, he says, I'll give you an adjustment can. I said, what's that got to do with your neck and back?
Yeah.
He says, I'll show you.
Yeah.
He adjusted me, and my allergy attack cessated immediately.
Wow.
Whereas I was taking pills for hours and days after it just stopped. I said, wow, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah.
So I took a deep dive, and then I realized that chiropractic had nothing to do with necks and backs.
Right.
It had to do with neurological integrity. Wow. And the nervous system controls your entire body, including your hormonal system.
Wow. I never knew.
I know. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
They think, chiropractors, quote, crack your back because they hear the sound.
Right.
And I always tell patients, if I crack your back, 2 people are going to have trouble, you and me.
Yeah.
If you want a specific chiropractic alignment, that I can do.
Right.
But I don't crack backs.
Wow. Wow. So doing all that, when did you decide you wanted to put out a book to help individuals?
Well, the writing part came after practice, after 45 years of practice.
Okay.
And I started my first book, Synchronicity, the magic, the mystery, the meaning. I started having all these coincidences,
Right.
one after another, like sequential.
Yeah.
And I started to get the idea, like, oh, am I the only one having these things?
Right.
I want to track back.
Yes.
The Yankee Stadium story was the reason I wrote the book on synchronicity.
Wow.
What happened was Judy and I were in Long Island, a place called Shelter Island, which is a little island between the North and the South Fork of Long Island, vacationing on Shelter Island.
Yeah.
Judy has family in the Hamptons, East Hampton. She says, let's go down and ride some waves.
Right.
Because on Shelter Island, it's a bay. There's no waves. I make a boo-boo. I get on a ferry. I get into a town called Sag Harbor, which is part of the Hamptons.
Right.
And the road bifurcates. One road goes to East Hampton Beach and one goes to a town called Amagansett. I got a little confused, I thought. I went to the town of Amagansett. It was 9 o'clock in the morning. I said, Judy, if we go back on this 25A road here, it's going to take us 2 hours. Traffic is horrific in the Hamptons. Right. We're going to make the best of a boo-boo. Yeah. 2 umbrellas, 2 chairs, 9 a.m. in the morning, ocean view.
Amazing.
Half hour later, a guy comes down on a crutch. No one's on the beach.
Yeah.
He sits down literally right next to me. Literally.
Yeah.
And I look at him and I say to myself, oh boy, this is a big beach. Maybe I should ask him to move. But I saw he was compromised.
Right.
And I said, sir, let me help you. Did you have your hip replaced? He says, how do you know? I said, well, I'm a doctor. I can see the way you're walking. I guess you can't go any further while you're sitting right here.
Right.
He says, yeah, I can't go any further. I'm in pain. But he wouldn't let me help him. About a half hour, and he didn't say another word to me. A half hour later, he goes to get back up. I offer help again. Because the voice of my soul was, how can I be of service? The voice of my ego was, hey, it's a big beach. Go over there and don't obstruct my ocean view.
Right.
Anyway, he puts on a Yankee hat. I say, let me tell him my Yankee Stadium story. I'll make his day.
Yeah.
So I go through the story like I told you about this, that, and the other thing. He says, I know who you are. I says, excuse me?
Yeah.
I don't have a name tag on. How do you know me? He says, I know that story. I'm Richie. I was on your team. I haven't seen him in 54 years.
Wow.
What was wow is, I said, Richie, what made you come to the beach today? Because I made a mistake coming here.
Right.
He says, Ken, I was driving out to Montauk, the east end of Long Island, and my car automatically went down Atlantic Avenue. He said, I used to rent a house here, and I wanted to take a nostalgic view of the ocean. I said, Richie, I used to rent a house here too.
Wow.
Never met him till that day.
Wow.
But here's the significance. I wound up helping him.
That's awesome.
As a chiropractor. So the universe, I'm going to use the word God, whatever that means to you, ladies and gentlemen. I don't want a holy war here.
Right.
That's something, the source of creation put him and me in the same path for a specific reason.
Beautiful.
We had a reunion with the coach. He was 90 years old. 8 of the 9 guys were still alive.
Wow.
And that made me write the book on synchronicity.
That's amazing.
It is amazing.
Because you had people gave you the nickname Mr. Synchronicity. Was that from...
Well, I actually, after writing the book, I started getting letters from all over the world and still do on other people. Everybody's having synchronicity. Most people are unaware, unconscious to the fact they're not connecting the dots. But there's a reason we meet everybody in our life path. Sometimes for a lesson, sometimes for a blessing. Sometimes what to do next, and sometimes what you shouldn't be doing next. Pay attention to strangers. My attitude is a stranger is a friend. I just haven't met them until this moment. Now, I met you in the bathroom today. And we knew each other already. I look at you, you look at me. You can interview me? And I felt this immediate connection. And now I know why.
Yes, sir.
We shared a story. I don't know if you've shared that story about your experience.
Right.
But I've experienced, out-of-body experiences, and I think you had one in an accident, and so did I, and so here we are.
Yeah. This is amazing. Now, I know for a lot of listeners, they have this one question that a lot of them, for some reason, having a hard time to answer. Why is it so hard to connect the dots?
Most people, first of all, don't talk to strangers, don't ask questions. The number one thing you must do if you want to have coincidences, synchronicities, is ask people. Where are you from? What are you doing here? What kind of work did you do in the world? What made you come to this place today? How did you meet each other? I'm very friendly. On the beach, I have them all the time. Now, when people meet me and they ask back, well, where are you from? depending on their level of consciousness, I look in their eyes, and I can pretty much read people. I'm an energy healer as well.
Beautiful.
And I say, well, I come from the same place you come from. And they look at me. Like, and I point up to the sky, meaning from the source, from heaven, whatever that is. Either they get it or they don't. And then they'll say to me, and what are you doing here, Doc? I said, well, I'm just visiting. And then I say, aren't we all?
Right.
And either they get it or they don't. I said, we're just passing through. And the prime mission for me is the giving and receiving of love. That's the big idea as far as I'm concerned. Everything in between that is drama, Mickey Mouse. We're here to learn to give and receive love to each other. And to see you as part of me. When I look at you, you're in a black body, I'm in a white body, but same spirit.
Same spirit.
There's one spirit.
It's one spirit.
And it differentiates. And when we get awake to that realization, we'll stop killing each other. The wars will end. There will be no other.
I truly believe that.
I do too. That's why I'm in the world preaching and teaching what I do. My wife calls me the preacher teacher, but that's what my mission. If you go on my website, it says I am here to awaken humanity from the illusion of separation to the reality of oneness.
I like that. And a lot of people. So we never really indulge into the religious stuff, the political stuff. But sometimes in conversations, there's certain parts that you just got to just a light little delve in. Would you say the structuring of government create a lot of the chaos that we're in right now?
Government is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to solve the problem. I hate to say it. If you want to know when a politician's lying, I'll tell you very easy, when they open their mouths.
Wow.
They're only about self-aggrandizement and getting reelected. I have friends who are politicians, and they tell me, as soon as they get in office, they got to start campaigning, raising money, which runs the government, to get reelected. I would love, like the NASCAR drivers, where the patches who sponsors them, for all the senators and congressmen, wear a jacket showing who the lobbyists are supporting them. Then we're going to know how they're going to vote.
Wow.
Politicians don't run America, corporations do.
Wow. This is amazing. So you had a few events happen in your life, and we kind of, touch a little bit to the listeners already, which brought you to second chances.
Oh, yeah. So, and notice the title of the book is Second Chances, because we've all had more than one. But some of them are pivotal. Some of them are like a line of demarcation before the event, what happened to you, and then after the event. So when doing the research for the book and gathering the other authors, I've come to discover that everyone who got a second chance and came through the storm of life had takeaways. They are not the same person that went into the storm. They learned lessons. They learned how to show up differently. For me, my second chance was 4 years ago. I was visiting my son in California. I was walking on a beach with my wife. I couldn't keep up with her. All of a sudden, I got really, really tired. And I'm pretty fit, I thought. And I said, Judy, I'm feeling not well and a little shaky. Let's go back to the condo where we were renting. Thank God I did, and I do thank God for that, because if I episoded on the beach, what happened to me, I would have died right there. So we drove back 20 minutes to the condo. She made me something to eat. And ladies and gentlemen, I know what hot flashes feel like, because I took one bite of that sandwich and my body experienced, I believe, a hot flash. Every pore of my body started to sweat.
Wow.
And then I got nauseous to the point where I could have vomited across the living room. And then the most awful pain I've ever experienced came simultaneously through my center of my chest and the center of my back. And I couldn't breathe. And I just took one look at my beautiful wife and I said 911, and I collapsed.
Wow.
The first responders were down the block. They got to me in 2 minutes and saved my life.
Amazing.
And there's a whole series of synchronicities that had to happen for me to be here. I got taken to the right hospital, to the right doctor for the right reason. And so I wake up every day in bliss and thankfulness.
That's amazing.
My first prayer when I go to bed at night, thank you, God, for another day. And when I wake up, thank you, God, again for another day. This is a gift. People don't know. Being alive is a gift. There's a lot of souls out there who'd love to be on this planet, but there's not enough room.
We don't have enough room. I like that. Now, the collage of different individuals that you've put together to put this book complete.
How did I find them?
How did you find them?
They found me.
They
I kid you not.
What?
So in my OBE, out-of-body experience,
Yes.
I heard the voice of my soul-sent self. People said, did you hear God's voice? I said, no, I think I heard the voice of my higher self, my essential self,
Right.
which is part of the Godhead, whatever
Yes.
that is.
Right.
And it said, Ken, relax.
Yes.
You're not going to die today. Go back and finish. Your mission is not complete.
Wow.
So when I came back and I emerged, I said, other people must have had experiences like this.
Yeah.
So I put it out into the consciousness, and I started getting phone calls from people all over the world. 5 of the authors here are international. One in Japan, one in South Africa, one in Australia, 2 in Mexico, and many across the United States. But it's all not about NDEs or OBEs. It's not about near-death or out-of-body experiences. It's about losses of every kind.
Right.
Losses of loved ones, loss of your business, loss of your health, mental and physical.
Right.
And everyone made a conscious decision not to stay stuck as a victim.
Right.
They went through the storm. They said they made a decision, which is the only power we really have in life, is to decide what we want to do with what happened to us.
Right.
Sometimes stuff washes up on your shoreline, no fault of your own,
Right.
but you have a choice. You're going to go up or you're going to go down as a result of that.
Yeah.
So all these authors at the end of each chapter give you strategies and tools to help you and encourage you, to give you hope and inspiration. You're going to get through the storm.
Wow.
Nothing lasts forever.
Yeah, I like
And
that.
there's life on the other side.
I like that.
The people said, "Did I see the light in the tunnel and the train?" I said, "No, I didn't see that, but I knew enough to know that I was given a second chance,
That's
and I'm
beautiful.
going to spend every minute of whatever time I have left,
Yes.
to spread that good news."
That is amazing. And, I want you plug in first. So, as you guys can see the book there, how can individuals find Second Chance?
They can find it on Amazon, but I would like to talk a little bit if someone's looking.
Yes.
You see this picture? That's a lotus flower.
Yes.
And I didn't know this, but the editor, when all the stories had been edited, she said, "Well, what are we going to put on the front of the book, Ken?"
Yeah.
I said, "Let me meditate on it." I'm a meditator. I've been meditating for 45 years.
Right.
I see this image of a lotus flower.
Right.
I don't know what the lotus flower symbolizes, so I go look it up.
Right.
The lotus flower in 5 religious traditions represents rebirth, renewal, resurrection, overcoming life's adversities.
Wow.
That's why the lotus flowers on the book.
It's amazing.
Everyone recreated themselves.
Yes. Yes.
And you will read this book, I guarantee you have the tissues nearby.
Yeah.
Because it will evoke emotion.
Yeah.
And it has happy endings, even though some of the things that happen are terrible. And I can talk about some instances, but everyone came through the storm with post-traumatic growth.
Right.
That's a whole new term, not stress. Post-traumatic growth is your takeaways.
Right. Now, I also want you to because a lot of individuals are going to try to find your website.
Okay, very simple. If you Google me, I'll pop up everywhere. But anyway, my website is Dr. DOCTOR, KenHarris.com. And everything's on my website. 2.5 years of archived newsletters for health and healing. I've been podcasted multiple times, 50 or more times, all around the world, actually.
Yes.
So they can find everything they need to know about me on my website.
Yes.
And the books can be purchased on my website and or at Amazon.com.
It's amazing. Now, so because, you have listeners that are listening right now that maybe have a feel of doubt or how to approach an individual because possibly they got that introvert, I don't want to say introvert syndrome, but, that vibe to not allow them to approach someone. What would you say to them?
I would say ask for help. Don't be ashamed. The ego will tell you, do it yourself. Don't self-reliant. It's a lie.
Yeah.
We need to ask each other for help.
Yes.
And people, and I always say, I got a problem. Can you help me? People want to help.
Right.
If you go approach it that way, people will be more than willing. What can I do for you?
Right.
Because our innate flush is to help each other.
Right.
We're not here to kill each other. We're here to help one another. Yeah. And I'm going to use the word love one another. As I love myself, I can love you.
Yes.
But if you don't have self-love going on, that's where you got to begin.
It's going to be
Once you
challenging.
can accept the good, the bad, and the ugly, the shadow and the light of your own self,
Right.
you'll have space for others. You'll stop judging them because we're all walking each other home.
Yes, yes. On a good day when you just meditating, you just want to tune everything out, what music you go to?
Well, I like classical music.
Yeah.
And I like New Age music. I have some New Age. I like, well, I'm a Bhakti yoga guy. I like I like kirtan.
Okay,
Sacred
okay.
music from around the world.
Yeah, yeah.
That's very, very soothing and helpful. I have a really good friend. His name is Bob Simer. I'm going to put a plug in for him.
There you go.
He and his wife Sharon are singer-songwriters. And I actually hired them. They came to Atlanta, Georgia, at Life University, and put on a concert when we launched the book, Second Chances.
Wow.
And they're incredibly talented, and their music is with a message. It's not just entertainment. The words themselves will uplift you.
Wow.
So Bob Simer, Where the Light Gets In, is someone I would recommend highly. I like Sanatam Kaur. I like Deva Premal in the yoga traditions. Got a lot of yogi friends.
Yeah.
And I do yoga myself. So.
Yeah. You know, you touch on some cartoon characters earlier in the conversation. When you were much younger, did you like cartoon? Did you watch
Of
cartoon?
course, I watched it all. Clarabelle and Howdy Doody. I was a Howdy Doody guy.
Yeah.
And all the Casper the Friendly Ghost I watched, and then I watched all the Disney stuff.
Yeah.
You know,
Wow.
go
That is amazing. Like now, what is your go-to movie right now? Like, people have movies that they just watch every single year, at least one time.
Yeah, well, let me just think. There's a few of them. Field of Dreams is one of my favorite music.
Nice.
With Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
Because everything in the phenomenal world of time and space was once a thought.
Right.
So everything is in our imagination first before it manifests on a physical level.
Right.
So that movie, him reuniting with his father.
Right.
I'm going to say this because, well, we're here to tell the truth.
Yeah.
When my father died, I went into an existential depression.
Right.
Because I had to put him in a nursing home. Oh. And I promised I would never do that.
Right.
He comes to me in an after-death communication and an apparition 8 months after he passed. I was in a monastery-like setting. I see my father. His name is Lou, the guy I talked about who went through the war.
Right.
And he's speaking to me, looking at me, and here's where I really got freaked out. I had tactile communication with my father.
Wow.
We hugged one another. And he said, Ken, I have permission to come and I see you suffering. I'm fine. I want you to go on with your life.
Yes.
I'm going on with my journey. And I said, Lou, is this heaven? What's the deal?
Yeah.
And here's what he said to me verbatim. Every man and every woman must find out for him or herself. But I'm here to tell you there's more. That's all he said.
There's more.
Yes.
Wow. There's more, guys. This is
Well, you and I both know that because we've experienced it.
This is true. So, I got to tell you, Ken, and the listeners, they'll attest to this. They have not really gotten my story yet. They have not gotten my story yet. So
You need to. I need to interview you on my podcast for your story.
There you go.
Because I do a podcast too called
Yeah.
Second Chances.
Second Chance,
Tell us
yeah.
your story.
Yeah.
So I'll do that on Zoom with you.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Well, you guys are in a little bit of luck here. You get to hear. Ooh, it's big. It's deep.
It's time to tell your story.
It's time.
People need to know there's more.
Yes.
This is not the whole show.
Yeah.
It's not birth to death.
Right.
No.
Right.
No.
Well.
Life everlasting is what it is.
Yes, I like that. I like that. The coming of age now and the paradigm shift that we're in. How you feel this generation is handling it?
I think I'm encouraged. I'm meeting a lot of young people who are awake at a lot earlier age than I was.
Wow.
So I'm an optimist, even though it looks like all hell is breaking loose and everything's breaking down and disintegration. I would recommend don't watch TV, folks. Don't watch the news.
Yeah.
Because it's not the truth anyway. But there's a lot of good going on in the world.
Yes.
There's a principle in physiology called metabolism. Mm-hmm. Metabolism, if you take food in, the body then breaks that food down and then restructures it and builds it up. That's what's going on the planet right now.
Yes.
There's a lot of disintegration, a lot of gloom and doom, but there's a lot of integration coming.
Wow. Well, there you have it, guys. Another story has been created with none other than Dr. Ken Harris. I am so excited to have had you on the show today, sir.
I am privileged to meet you, and how I found you was a circuitous way.
Yes.
But as soon as you called me up, I said, "Oh, it felt naturally right to me."
Yes.
I didn't hesitate. I said, "Okay, where, when? I'll be there."
It was amazing.
And you said, "Well, why don't you check me out?" I said, "I don't have to check you out. I already know it's right."
This is true, people.
It is true.
This is true.
Everything we said here is true. We didn't make anything up.
Yeah. This is beautiful.
I got to say one thing.
Yes,
one
yes.
lady, I got like 255 reviews on the Synchronicity book. And
Yes.
most of them, I'm bragging a little bit, are 5 stars. However,
Yes.
one lady put a review, it was a 1 star. And I looked at it, I said, why is it a 1 star?
Yeah.
She said, the stories in this book could never have happened to anybody. This man has a good imagination, and he made everything up.
Wow.
It didn't happen that way, folks.
Yeah.
Every story in this book happened to me as written.
Yes.
She couldn't believe it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But life is that way. It's magical and mystical.
Yes.
So stay aware, awake, and alert. Talk to strangers.
Right.
Ask questions. And
Yes.
pay attention to what they tell you.
I like that because last year they were saying be woke or stay woke or whatever.
Stay
it was.
awake.
Stay awake.
Stay awake.
Yeah.
Don't go back to sleep. That's
Yeah.
a poem by Rumi, the famous Persian poet.
Oh my goodness. That's beautiful right there. Oh man, it was such a joy having you.
I am so happy that
Yes,
we
sir.
got this opportunity,
Yes,
and maybe
sir.
we'll do another one down the road.
Oh, definitely. Oh, we definitely are. We definitely will be on definitely one of the other seasons. So, I'm excited.
My
This is
wife says to
beautiful.
me, "Why are you driving all the way up there?" I says, "I'm being compelled to go, Judy." Now I know why, but I knew innately. She said, okay, all right. She said, "Have fun."
Yeah.
And this
Thank
for
you,
me
Judy.
was fun. This
Yes.
was fun.
Yeah, this
and
was a-
purposeful.
Yes,
Someone's life listening to this conversation is going to be impacted. today.
Definitely. Guys, so until our next episode where we have another individual right here to create another story and take you back to when this story was first created, right here in Yas Club. That was beautiful.
Thanks for tuning in and downloading this episode of Stories to Create. We appreciate you being part of this growing community of storytellers and listeners. If today's conversation inspired you, please share the show with friends, family, or anyone who could use a little motivation in their journey. A special thank you to our sponsors, EHAS Organization, Cornell Bunting LLC, and Nostril Cheese Chase for supporting the mission and making this podcast possible. To learn more about our work, upcoming projects, and how you can get involved, be sure to visit www.hissincord and www.cornellbunting.com. Until next time, keep creating, keep growing, and remember, your story has power.